I wrote this article 6 months ago after listening to a consultant talking to local groups in Eastern Kenya about alternative strategies to getting reverse osmosis filtration into their village. This consultant that came in had a great spiel going on. He had these little buckets that were attached to a micron filtration system and said, hey, you could have one of these in everybody's home and everybody gets clean water. And I asked the guy a few questions when we were going through the process. Is like, so how small down do these filters go? And he responded, zero point 0.1 microns. And that seems like a really small filtration system until you start realizing that the fertilizer runoff and the cyanotoxins from the algae blooms and the heavy metals from pollution all over Lake Victoria, where we were talking about, is all much smaller than zero point 0.1 microns. It's actually down in the nanometer scale. So I've got an engineering background. I was looking at this whole situation and I realized that everybody else in the room around me was looking at this guy like he had the answer to their prayers and was coming in with the grail to respond to all this situation. And what I realized is that nobody had the frame of reference to actually understand that the scale was completely wrong. And so that prompted me to go into Notebook LM and pull some sources together and create an explainer video so that I could share it with all of my friends and help them to understand the difference in scale and the engineering problems associated with trying to deal with this type of solution. That then resulted in this article and really understanding that anybody can do this now. You can be a 13-year-old kid at a city planning meeting just sitting over in the corner going, I don't understand the difference in scale between zero point 0.1 micron and nanometer. Can you help me figure it out? And because we can now communicate with our computers directly, AI can now respond to us in natural language. We don't have to learn coding languages in order to be able to communicate anymore. We're able to get across our basic thoughts and say, hey, I need help understanding this. And the AI could come back and not only provide them, but provide them in the way that's contextualized to our understanding and our lived experience. And that changes the game completely. So when we're looking at emerging AI and we're looking at these tools and how they can work for us, a lot of people are really centered on governance and restrictions and ethical concerns of like, it's going to make the children stupider or anything like that. The reality is AI is opening the doors to allow us to bypass expertise. So instead of having to wait for gatekeepers to come in and open and unlock the door for us to marketing strategy and coding and complex strategy, complex situations like these filters that we were talking about last September, now kids can come in and so can their moms and so can the grandmoms and come in. They can use these tools to be able to break down these complex strategies so that they and others can be able to understand them. And that itself becomes the key to changing how we deal with complex strategies like climate change and food system dysfunction in our communities is by being able to move past these gatekeeping situations, move past the consultants and the expert strategists, and really understand ourselves what these tools are and what they can do for us. When we're able to achieve that, and frankly, now we have the tools available with a free Google account. So it's really not that complicated. A lot of the paid services that are out there are actually not even necessary anymore because free versions of those are coming out in the pipeline. So that's really the focus that we had with this article is to help people to understand just how available these tools are and how easy they are for communities to access and to understand really complex stuff in ways that we can break down at the street level.